go. How is everyone today? I hope everyone is well. We are going to be trying out the challenge-winning deck list from Saturday. Blue-red Murktide. This card is nuts. This card is ridiculous, and we're going to find out all of the reasons why today. I don't know, anytime a threat comes out in blue or blue adjacent colors with the keyword delve, you should always pay attention. And this does a little bit more than that. While you're delving, if you exile any number of instants or sorceries, that's the number of +1/+1 counters Murktide Regent comes into play with. So, max upside on cast, this could be an 8/8 if you completely delve nothing but instants and sorceries. It even has more text though, folks. It's got more text. Whenever an instant or sorcery card leaves your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Murktide Regent. So, our good friend Dreadhorde Arcanist does just that. It casts cards from the graveyard, which triggers Murktide Regent, which is going to put even more +1/+1 counters on it. Yeah. Little combo, little 1-2 punch there. Then we've got the other Modern Horizons 2 All-Stars, Dragon Rage Channeler and Ragavan Nimble Pilferer. Surely you've heard all about these cards in recent days, weeks even. Unholy Heat is also something to be mentioned, because this card is awesome. We're already extremely interested in Delirium, which is why we're even playing Mishra's Bauble. And also why we even have a sorcery in our deck, even though this is a really good sorcery. The text on this card is just busted. You can deal 2 damage to a creature or planeswalker, or if you have managed to obtain Delirium, you get 6 damage out of it. To a planeswalker? Or a creature? Wow. So, besides Unholy Heat and Lightning Bolt, the way we're trying to obtain Delirium early is through cards like Thought Scour, putting a lot more cards into our graveyard than normally would be. Fetch lands, giving us land in the graveyard for card type. Mishra's Bauble, free card, replaces itself artifact. We also have Sleight of Hand and Serum Visions to help us get through our library. Since we're only running 13 creatures, there are going to be hands where we need to find a creature, or maybe we're digging for that last 3 points of damage in a Lightning Bolt. So Serum Visions and Sleight of Hand kind of fill those gaps. Same with Expressive Iteration. It's a little clunkier than the other cards mentioned, but you get to look at 3 cards, and you get 2 of them. But for 2 mana, that's usually pretty good. That is sickening on rate. Moving to the sideboard. I got a couple of chalices that I'm still waiting on mana traders for. But Chalice is there for the prowess matchup. It does hurt us a little bit, but we have ways to get around it. Same with Blood Moon. Engineered Explosives is there to clean up whatever mess shows up. There's several different applications for this card. The food deck floating around. Lots of stuff we can deal with via Engineered Explosives. Abrade is also another catch-all, or like artifacts are problematic. Probably going to end up having some issues with Relic of Progenitus, Tormat's Crypt, those sorts of things. So Abrade kind of helps come in and manipulate when our opponent will be popping that. And then we got a permission package over here, a little more counter magic to come in. Subtlety being one of the new incarnations, the other half of Force of Negation. And have Force of Negation as well. Mystical Dispute for those blue matches. I've seen Miracles floating around recently, which is fun. Aether Gust to answer red and green permanents like Primeval Titan, Tarmogoyf, Red and 6, other scary red things. Spell Pierce as the final round out. But yeah. Oh snap. Glorybringer, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Antog's Den. Hope you enjoy hanging out. Look, you know what, Nugget? You know what, Nugget? I don't think I own any sudden shocks. I don't own any sudden shocks, but if you do, at least online. I know you don't have very many online cards, if at all. I don't know if you even play online. I know you play Arena. But, not exactly Chalice of the Void, but if you find me 2 sudden shocks, I'll play them today. And let's just get into a league. This is absolutely reckless. But we're gonna. I do need to edit the Cardboard Live extension first, letting them know that we have added Sudden Shock to our deck. This is ridiculous. Nugget, how'd I let you talk me into this? Alright, and we're on the play. Let's go. Yeah. Sure. Let's go Dragon Rage Channeler. This is a very greedy keep. If our Dragon Rage Channeler gets killed, we're just kind of nice. Alright, cool. We got the upkeep stop so that I can bolt this Ragavan and make sure that we draw a land. Yeah, we gotta kill that Ragavan for sure. Alright, that gives us sorcery and instant land. Okay. Okay. That does suck. But not a lot. It's not terrible. I don't really think I want to Thought Scour my opponent. It feels like this is a mirror match. Dash. Please get a land out of the... Don't move a land. Oh. Okay, so they don't have the lightning bolt to back it up. I think we're just gonna risk it for the biscuit here. Yes. Yes. Alright, so they have another Ragavan that they can dash in. Murktide Regent entered our exile zone. Okay, so it is only that card. Cool. Yeah, we'll just hold up Counterspell. I know that's not really progressing the board. I know that's also not really pushing our game plan forward, but dealing with that Ragavan is important. and I think I want to do it with Lightning Bolt. Do we push this into the graveyard to try to get Delirium sooner? We have 6 cards. Yes. Because right now we have instant sorcery that puts creature. We kill Ragavan with Lightning Bolt. We have a Thought Scour, so maybe we didn't need to. Cool. We did mill past 2 lands. But we do have a land drop, which is awkward. Alright, we don't need that upkeep stop anymore. We'll pass the turn. I want to be able to protect this Dreadhorde Arcanist with Counterspell. Plus we have interaction galore, so sure. Bolt here. Serum Visions can resolve. Does give them Delirium. No, they had Delirium already. Okay, we got an Unholy Heat, but we milled past a Murktide Regent. We also got a Fiery Islet so that we can play Arcanist and still hold up Counterspell. So this is looking pretty good. I'm pretty okay with this. Probably end up Serum Visioning off of Dreadhorde. Likely have another answer, maybe, possibly, or they were doing that to get their Murktide Regent into play, which a couple of Unholy Heats should be able to handle. How big did they get it? 6/6? Cool. So we don't have to jump through any extra hoops to just kill it with 1 Unholy Heat. We still get 2 Serum Visions off of our Arcanist. Here's the thing. Lightning Bolt is a 2-turn clock. So let's just do that. We have another Unholy Heat in hand for a second Murktide Regent that won't be as big because of creatures and artifacts. Looks like Expressive Iteration is where they're gonna go. If they deal with our Arcanist, we can draw a card with Fiery Islet to see what happens. Going to within bolt range without the Arcanist, so either they have an answer Our answer is a blocker. Well, we've seen 3 lightning bolts already, so burn that hits them, unless it's sudden shock. And we won't be able to cast that this turn. Okay. Yeah. Come on. Come on, sudden shock. Let's go. Opponent's gonna be like, what in the world is that card? Okay. Does opponent have force of negation that they're thinking about using here? Hand, bottom, exile, cast. We're gonna see whatever card is on top of our library during their upkeep, so let's look at theirs. Unholy Heat is the answer. Alright, so we're gonna yield. Hang on to a priority right there. Okay. Just a land. No need to shock then if I wasn't going to draw, but I wanted to know what was up over there. And the answer was Unholy Heat. Alright, so sleight of hand and a Dragon Rage Channeler. Expressive Iteration. Wow. I want all 3 of these cards. We'll put Unholy Heat in our hand, shuffle away Ragavan, and keep Dragon Rage Channeler. Cast Dragon Rage Channeler. I want the Surveil from our Dragon Rage Channeler more than I want Ragavan. Although Ragavan would potentially get us their Lightning Bolt. That's right. Keep digging and keep missing. They didn't keep missing. They have not milled Sudden Shock. They did target us with that Thought Scour. What is their last card? Nice! It is nothing! Monkeying around. Getting it. Let's go. You're probably right. It was probably better to grab Ragavan and get some dash action going. Glorybringer, thank you for your input. I think it was actually a better line. We wound up getting lucky there. We'll grab this Sudden Shock because I think it's actually good here. Oddly enough. So is a Braid? So this doesn't completely stop it, but it can get us out ahead. Let's see, what else? I feel like if I cut a monkey here, I'm betraying him. But I think we just want the Sudden Shock and the Engineered Explosives. I can't cut a Bauble. Cut a Thought Scour. Maybe I could have cut a Bauble since we have the Engineered Explosives in the deck. Yeah. Let's see what their turn one has for us. We're not really doing that much to interact, sadly. But we do get Dragon Rage Channeler as well, but we get to cast a Mishra's Bauble and get a trigger. We don't need that. We got plenty of that. Okay. Sweet. Little tidbit of removal for their Dragon Rage Channeler there. Gonna put another... Okay, so they got ours. They got our number. It doesn't look like they have a land. Okay. So what's our play as it sits? Probably fetch land bolt. I don't want them to get more surveil triggers off of this. Nice. We'll shock in Steam Vents, cast our own Dragon Rage Channeler number 2, that is. And achieve Delirium. We'll leave that on top. Because surely they have another creature besides this Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay. Only be a 4/4. Is that even worth it? It's a threat that's out of bolt range. They'd have to have another Unholy Heat. Only be a 4/4 though. And that would completely wreck Delirium. I think we gotta. We don't have a counter spell to hold up, but we do have a Scalding Tarn. It does take damage from Unholy Heat, which is rough, and they milled their own Murktide Regent. That's good news for us. Their Murktide, however, will likely be larger because they have one. Shouldn't have wrecked Delirium. It's all right. So I think we do nothing. I think we hold Ragavan to dash with. Unholy Heat isn't big enough yet. Maybe we put Engineered Explosives on 1. That'll get us to Delirium quicker so we can be 1 damage shy of killing their Murktide Regent. Pass the turn. No attacks. Gonna take some damage here. It's gonna be rough. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have triple lightning bolt. They have a Dreadhorde. That blocks our Ragavan. Can we get lucky? If we pop Engineered Explosives for 0, we still don't have enough mana to dash in Ragavan and Unholy Heat. And we're either artifact or creature away from getting Unholy Heat online. And they only have 3 card types. But I really don't want their combo to start growing the Murktide Regent. But I hate how much work that takes. Alright, so now we have to block their Murktide Regent. We do You have Delirium. If they can achieve Delirium, then their attack will make Unholy Heat big enough to kill our Murktide Regent. So they have done us in here. Let's go to game 3. Engineered Explosives was a failed experiment. I think I like Subtlety in this match so that we can counter their Murktide Regent. And they seemed to like Spell Pierce enough, so I think I should try it too. Alright, let's play first. Ooh, yikes. Not a creature in sight. Lots of card draw, though. What do you think, chat? Do we keep this? I don't think we keep this. We're gonna draw for days, but what are we doing otherwise, you know? Anybody in chat got an opinion? Holla at your boy. It's a big game 3. The more I'm sitting here, the more my Is It Mage says, yeah, you're drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra cards and scrying through 6 cards over the next couple of turns. So you should keep that. That's good, right? I think we gotta keep it. I mean, historically speaking, when I get hands like this that are so close to the edge, I usually mulligan it and get boned to where I have to mulligan down to like 5. Murktide Regent, that's what we need. Good stuff. We will put that on top, and then we will put Thought Scour on top of it. We'll cast this Bauble. We'll take a look at what our opponent has. And I think just to try our best to get this Murktide Regent out on turn 2, we're going to go ahead and cast that. Unless we hit another one, I don't think we can. At least not one that'll be worth much. So this will give us Serum Vision's Thought Scour to set it up. Unless we draw a Lightning Bolt off the top here. Let's go. Thought Scour 2 is not what I wanted to see there. Both of these cards are good, so I guess we'll draw another card with this Serum Visions. So they are going to hit us with Ragavan. So I think we're going to use Sudden Shock as a decoy. So we're gonna bolt. Well, that'll make it a 6/6. So we'll be able to play Ragavan and Murktide next turn. No, we need to get this Ragavan off the table. I have Counterspell up. Spell Pierce it is. Alright. We'll cast Murktide Regent. Leave an artifact, because that's typically one of the harder spell types to get into the graveyard. They have Delirium. And this puts us at 7/7, since we had Lightning Bolt go to the graveyard, so that keeps us out of... Oh, Unholy Heat range. Thank you, Kylith, for the comment earlier about the hand. Yeah, 5 to 6 looks at a threat. It's not too bad. I appreciate that. That's helped us keep it. And, well, now here we are with a 7/7, staring at a Ragavan. We might end up having to take this so that we don't get Unholy Heated. Which means they get another look at the top card of our library. And it's an islet. Sweet. Nothing they can use against us. It's not an additional Unholy Heat, which they could. Heat. Alright, they've got their own Murktide Regent that's going to be massive. Just one more power than ours, huh? Can we do anything about that? We could have. This is going to be sweet. Matching their 8/8 with another one of our own and growing our Murktide Regent way past theirs. This deck is bananas. This card is busted. What is going on here? This is great. They're almost dead. I think they have to block. Why aren't they blocking? Strange. We're back to another round where we could top deck Sudden Shock and win the game. Sudden Shock, folks. What is the world coming to, Nugget? Where a sudden shock is the difference between... yeah, come on, one time. I had to give away that first one. I hated having to give away that first one. I hated having to give it away, but just like when you're determining how much to pay for a pepper or a tomato or some bananas. Sometimes you have to give it away, give it away, give it away now. Okay, so they weren't able to get theirs large enough to fight that one. They pull off another 6/6. Which we have a couple of looks at Unholy Heat. We have one there. Oh, okay. Oof. Oof. I almost freaked out. I almost freaked out. Everything is awesome. Alright, Ragavan, what are you stealing from us? Nothing good. Does Lightning Bolt do it? I'm gonna lead on this expressive iteration just to try. Hand, shuffle, exile, cast. I don't want them to untap. So we'll look at the top card of our library, and it's Counterspell. Alright, we still have a land drop. Let's go ahead and Lightning Bolt to see if they have a Counterspell, and if that Counterspell does in fact exist, we can dash Ragavan. And guess what, folks? We won our first match. We won our first match. Nuggets feeling fortunate. Nuggets feeling fortunate. You know what that means. We bust out the golden deck box of fortunes. Give it a good rattle, rattle, shake around. The golden deck box of fortunes. We're gonna reach inside. We're gonna pull out a fortune. Nugget, your fortune today, sir, is inspiration within is waiting for you. It's time to go deep. Sounds like some meditation is in order. Some deep thought. Maybe hit up some Douglas Adams. But inspiration is waiting for you. Gotta go deep. Just like we're gonna do with our winning record today. Ah, that is what she said. Come on now. We just played the mirror, so we haven't really had to deal with any graveyard yet. I'm not quite sure what the plan is. Most graveyard decks have a couple of spells that are crucial to interacting with their graveyard, so I think the plan is to get at those particular spells and be able to answer them and get it from there. We are a little quicker, so we can often just ignore them and then evade them with our Dragon Rage Channel and Murktide Regent. But there aren't a whole lot of graveyard decks running around right now, thankfully, to take advantage of this hole in the meta. We have an Arcanist, but that doesn't do a whole lot for us. That's usually like... Yeah, we gotta keep this. Does have our Sudden Shock in there. And with Obosh being revealed as the companion, we're playing against mono red. So we're going to lead with Scalding Tarn, and we might get the opportunity to Sudden Shock something. That is not at all what I expected. Is this a Ponza deck? Yeah. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Oh, hey, Murktide Regent. Hand, shuffle, exile. Yeah, I'm not used to seeing Obosh paired up with Ponza, but I think that's where we're at. What's their 5-drop? What's their scary 5 or 6-drop? Are they playing Inferno Titan still? Are they playing Primeval Titan now? They can't because of Obosh. Those are both 6, which is an even converted mana cost. So like Thragtusk maybe? I'm debating whether or not to cast this Slot Scour or going ahead and eating up this Arbor Elf with the Unholy Heat. I think Thought Scour is the better play so that we can get Unholy Heat and Murktide Regent online. We'll get Steam Vent's Shock here so that we still have... I could have just been patient. I needed to cast this during our... Well, I have to cast it this turn. So I can't be patient. I have to cast it this turn. Alright, I'm thinking too deep and I'm getting lost in my train of thought. Gargaroth. That is some Unholy Heat you just experienced. Don't really have very many. Nice. Bottom, we'll put that on top because it doesn't matter. We're fetching it away. We're going to grab this other basic island in case they have a Blood Moon. 1, 2, 3, 4 +1/+1 counters. We'll grab a Scalding Tarn, leaving the Arcanist for 2 card types. Just in case that matters in a second. That puts us out of Unholy Heat range. Being a 7/7 dragon. They grabbed Obosh. Untap. They played their land, so they've got, what, a 3-drop now? Bone Crusher. JP in the house. What is up, buddy? So yeah, we're gonna lightning bolt that. Nah, no worries. I appreciate you being here at all, man. We know Obosh is coming down. 5 toughness. Means we've got to play Dreadhorde Arcanist and leave the graveyard alone. Yeah. Yeah, 3-0 is right. Yeah, no, this deck has been doing us well. We've been lucky in the right spots. We've played well in the right spots. I have made some mistakes, but not as many, thankfully. And we've had a couple of awesome people in chat help us through a couple of tough spots. So it has been one of the better streams, actually. Excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and sudden shock this. Arbor Elf, because if Obosh comes down next turn, that's going to be the only thing they do. No, the plan is to sudden shock, bolt the Obosh. Although that does open up Stomp, dealing 4 damage. Oh. Okay. So even though they've went ahead and grabbed it, it was just to play some mana. 3/3 double strike deals 4 damage as it enters. Yes. I was about to say that likely means Dreadhorde Arcanist is dead. But if I sudden shock them, so we're playing Sudden Shock because Mana Traders hadn't gotten the 2 Chalice in the Voids that I was missing for the sideboard right before we started the league. And Nugget has been asking me to play Sudden Shock for years. Literally years. As a sideboard card in whatever red deck I've played on the stream. It's been brought up in discussion as the last sideboard card for a long time. So I figured I had 2 sideboard slots. I wasn't sure Mana Traders was going to come through and be able to provide us with the cards that we needed. So I may have told Nugget that if he had Sudden Shocks that I would play it. That needed to be something better than a Mishra's Bauble. But it does have a couple of applications. It's good against Prowess. We're going to look at our card. It's Lightning Bolt. Let's go. We're there. So we're going to draw Lightning Bolt during their upkeep. They don't really have any way to counter it. So we have exactly 5 damage. We can see if they concede to this. No. No cares. NBD. Not sure what our opponent's thinking about. There's not really a whole lot to be done in this situation from their perspective. Endurance is a card. But if you evoke it, you can't block because it's not going to be there for the blockers. Excuse me. Opponent's kind of just hanging out. Okay. All right, cool. They didn't really do any Ponza stuff, though. JP, what's the skinny on this deck? Have anything I should really be aware of or scared of? I don't think we need a fifth card. Sudden Shock was kind of like extra. So just have this ready to go. Okay, there we are. Okay, so no Endurance to be seen. Magus of the Moon coming out of the sideboard. Alright, I'll be right back. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, folks. Well, doesn't have access to red, but I'm not sure we'll need it until we need it. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Especially with, like, turn 1 Noble Hierarchs and such. Intriguing. Cast, look. Spire Bluff Canal, great news. Okay. Cool. I'm alright with that. Getting our Steam Vents and our Lightning Bolt back. Grabbing those from the top of our library here. Not sure if our opponent has a Pillage for this turn, but they led with a Noble Hierarch instead of Arbor Elf, which is their usual. Don't need that stop on their upkeep. Okay, wow. Alright, well, no Arbor Elf to be seen, so... Definitely don't need another island, but we'll draw this expressive iteration next turn. I wish one of these was... Alright, so they go 2 Magus of the Moon, 2 Blood Moon. Yeah, EE on 1 would have been sweet for this turn. I think we're just going to Serum Visions. I think that's better than Bolt right now against this. If this was an Arbor Elf, I'd be bolting the garbage out of it. 1, 2, 3. If they make a land drop, they've got 4 mana. Yeah, we're fine. Let's, we do need land in our graveyard, though. We're not looking towards Delirium as much this turn. We do want Unholy Heat, though. I've played against Terminus more online than, or in the last couple of days than I have in several months. There's... I think we're alright without bolting the bird here. But there is a really popular blue-white list that's going around right now. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, Unholy Heat's not looking great here. Clothis is gonna start getting at us with Delirium. Yeah. Alright. I could've, would've, should've done that last turn. But here we are now casting a Murktide Regent for... to make a 7/7. Yeah, what's up, JP? Oh, yeah? How bad was it? How good was it? It's probably really good, wasn't it? It was probably bananas. Okay. Yeah. And that's like, you're coming from the knowledge of your local meta and finding those little corner cases that are going to help you get... Yeah. And like, I don't know what you're playing against on the regular, so always take any advice I give you with a grain of salt and use it in addition to your own findings to find your own conclusion, for sure. And I'm glad you didn't let me scare you away from it and had a great time with it. We're going to put Expressive Iteration into our hand, Sleight of Hand back into the library, and Thought Scour into exile. We are going to Thought Scour here. Now we've got 2 Unholy Heats, which is great, and we also have Delirium attainable. We're going to go ahead and get our other basic island in case they did bring in those sort of situations, which is going to lock us off of Unholy Heat right now. But I want to be able to cast this other Murktide Regent soon. Dreadhorde Arcanist has been really good in this deck for sure. You have a lot of options, but it also kind of just falls into the same reason you were cutting the Kaya anyway, which would be providing you with more removal. And that was something you said you were trying to get away from, was the more removal. You do have Thought Seizes and Inquisitions as well, though. Oh wow, that's 8 points of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we get rid of the Pyromancer, we can get Clothis back on the sidelines. If I'd have gotten Steam Vents there. Yeah. It does have to get to attack, though. That's the difficult part. Depending on what your metagame looks like, if there's a lot of removal, it's going to be more difficult for you, but Clothis would still put us to 1. Can't deal 16 here, so get Clothis back on the sidelines. Plus Elementals kills us. So I don't think we can attack. I think we have to land, no, Murktide Regent. Hold up Unholy Heat for 2. Nice. Kneecap Magic, thank you. Maybe I could have attacked there, but I think that it's just safer. Alright, JP, I hope you have a great rest of your night. Sleep well. All that shit. Oh, I can't get hit. Well, if they can take out one of their own. Grabbing Lightning Bolt. Good night, buddy. Good 1. What do you have? Obosh. Is still fine. Can I interest a mod in getting that? Block. Got another Unholy Heat. cast on Obosh. I'm an idiot because it only dealt 2 damage. Anthony, pay attention just a little bit more. Thank you, JP. I appreciate it. Yeah. No worries. Thank you guys for both being here regardless. Hand... Shuffle, exile, or bottom of the library, exile. Slide a hand. That was a tough punt to make there. Okay. Gotta hold black. Oh, we just lose. We just lose. We just lose. Man. If I'd have gotten a bolt there, would have been fine. But getting the Unholy Heat and not having Delirium was rough. That was rough. Subtlety. We didn't really see much of our sideboard that game. Didn't really see much of our sideboard that game. Alright, buddy. Have a good night. Thank you for sticking around for the end of that. That was close. Yeah, I was a little late. For the memes is the short answer. Yeah, I know. I should have played EE. I think being on the play, though, with this hand especially, that we're okay. Yep. 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 I know. But here we are now. Getting it. Okay, so firing off quick with a Utopia Sprawl right there. Don't give me that title. Don't give me that title. There's only one mystical teacher here. Alright, so we're going to do that. The reason I'm doing that is in case they have a pillage, that'll still give us... Thank you very much, JP, for gifting that sub to Mystical Teacher. Good stuff, man. Appreciate it. Teacher, you stick around and you'll be subbed to me forever. Yeah. Alright, opponent. You got a red and a green. You're going to bolt our Arcanist and let a green float on. Nope, you're going to Utopia Sprawl. Okay, so we have Delirium available now. Oh, goodness. We'll leave that on top of our library.
Thanks, Snake Eyes. Appreciate it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Mystical Teacher knows probably better than most that I should listen to other people. There have been a lot of times where I've not listened to him when I should have, for example. That's a Clothis getting ready to show up. I'm not excited about that. Hand Library Exile. Fiery Islet into play. Attack, let's go. Alright, is our opponent just going to drop Clothis on us this turn? It doesn't seem the best mode of transportation to the win. Can't spell pierce it. Yeah, so I think Jake has a hard time watching me mess up because he has told me a lot of the things that I do not to do them. So listen. Listen, y'all. See, Nugget? See, this is why I didn't play Sudden Shock before. This is why I didn't play Sudden Shock before, Nugget. Everybody hating. Oh, this has been a good stream. We'll put that into the graveyard. We'll keep that on top. We'll draw that with Serum Visions. We'll put that on the bottom. We'll put that on top. Yikes. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one's all Nugget's fault. Nugget decided that I needed to finally, cash in on that. Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on that for sure. That's why I'm kind of hovering over here in the box with my cursor. I don't want to be too far away. But we are winding down into some last few turns, big important decision action. We've got a Spell Pierce up to protect our creatures. Our opponent has been struggling with mana this game, so we might get lucky on the back of that and be able to close out this game. Oh. So they've got themselves protected with the Spell Pierce mana floating. So we'll not. We'll save it for the next removal spell. Opponent still has red-green floating. 13 health. Another Utopia Sprawl. It's 4 mana. No, I don't care about that. 5 if they Lothus. The naming green screams Elder Gargaroth. Here we're gonna just go get basic and draw a card. Serum Visions put on top. Bottom, top. Land for the turn. Mandatory attacks. Yield through. Oh, I did, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, Clothis is doing work. Definitely want to keep that off of living. Hanging out during our upkeep. Alright, I'm going to do a lot less talking over the next couple of steps. I'm not sure. Yep, there's that Elder Gargaroth I was screaming about. It took Delirium away from us. Attack us, we go to 3. If their last card is a Lightning Bolt, ouch. It turns off our fetch. It doesn't do what I want it to do. So we'll make it do a thing. Yeah, I think this game's over. I think we made too many mistakes. It may not even block. Yeah, we're dead. I've made too many mistakes here. That Gargaroth coming down was the death sentence. I mean, there's a turn 1 monkey, but we can't keep a 5-land hand. This is much more reasonable. Oh, nice. I didn't know about the one in Hendo. I think the answer is Lightning Bolt or Sleight of Hand, and I think Sleight of Hand gets us closer to Murktide than Lightning Bolt does. But if we end up keeping the Sleight and needing interaction, then yeah, we'll keep the Sleight of Hand. We are on the play. Let's go. think that's the spot Unholy Heat is playing now. Gonna do Serum Vision. Since we have the Dragon Rage Channeler and we can see the card before we draw it, I don't want to draw a second Murktide here. Or a third. Let's get some fresh cards. We're actually going to Thought Scour. Yeah, we'll leave that on top so that it gets into the bin. And we have Delirium. Get to attack. We also have 2 instances sorceries, making our Murktide a 5/5. Create a 1/1 black insect token. Then mill a card. If you mill an insect, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat the process. -2, you can sacrifice a creature. Destroy a planeswalker creature. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of creatures in your graveyard. Grist, the Hunger Tide. Alright, well, it looks like they're trying to trade their Ignoble Hierarch for our Dragon Rage Channeler. I'm okay with that. Nice. So we're going to slide a hand before we Murktide Regent. Got it up to a 6/6. So, Ashes of the Fallen. Is that the card? All right, so because if it mills a creature, okay. Well, we've got this lightning bolt here that we can put a stop to that with. Let's use lightning bolt instead of sudden shock so that we can hold up counterspell. Yeah, that little combo with Grist seems pretty good. 2 for the artifact, 3 for Grist, and then all you have had to do is have a creature on turn 1. Well, no, that's the sacrifice part. You just make the insect token and mill a card, so the requirement is just building your deck with a bunch of creatures. which Yawgmoth has no issue doing. It's already a creature combo deck, so it's excited to do that already. Goodbye, Geralt's Messenger. Nice try. We taking 2 from a Warden and an Insect? No. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to kill our opponent with Sudden Shock here. Nugget, are you witnessing this? We are winning this game this turn because Sudden Shock is in our hand. And there's nothing they can do about it. Oh, it is so hilarious to me. Oh my goodness. Oh, jeez. How did that... Oh, wow. Good stuff. So Sudden Shock is actually going to get 2 copies in the library so that we can get around all the sacrifice shenanigans that are going to take place if they actually start getting online. Subtlety will come in. A lot of their stuff is green, so Aether Gust might also be a consideration. Don't want Spell Pierce, I don't want Force of Negation. Engineered Explosives is also probably pretty good. Blood Moon is also a conceivable option. Got a lot for this matchup. Probably too much. I don't think Ragavan is for this match. I think we can cut Ragavan there. It's never going to get through with all of the critters on the ground and 1/1/1 counter, and it's done for. Okay. Interesting. We gotta keep. Gonna Dragon Rage Channeler, Dread Horde Arcanist into Blood Moon on them. Maybe we bolt the bird this time. Yeah. We're gonna bolt the bird. Twilight Mire into Wall of Roots. Channeler will play Flooded Strand and hold it until later. Okay, so Wall of Roots is going to keep them in at least green mana for the moment. This is the perfect unthought seizable hand. What are you going to take? My second copy of Blood Moon? Come on now. I wish they'd have taken my second copy of Blood Moon. Alright, so we already have creature, instant, land, so putting this expressive iteration into the graveyard is Delirium, which gets us over these Wall of Roots. So we have an island, so we have one of our basics, and they drew a swamp. They have green mana out of the Wall of Roots, but it doesn't look like they're doing much with anything. Expressive iteration. We'll leave that on top as one of the cards. And that's the concession. We get the match. Alright, so we get to be on the play. I am hyped for that. Let's go. We have a turn 1 monkey, folks, and it's a good enough hand around it that we can keep it. Turn 1, Ragavan. To quote a terribly cringy cartoon from the 90s on Cartoon Network, to the monkey woman now. Oh, why are you a legendary creature? Because you would be too good if I were able to play 2 of you this turn. Could you imagine if this wasn't legendary? Alright, so we're playing against Zoo. That's a Tribal Flames that we just exiled. Yeah, we're not worried about casting that. I meant to click Serum Visions, not that. Bottom. Top. Yeah. Alright, so which... What do you mean 2 mana, 2 damage is not good enough anymore? Oh, we only had Island. It's only 1 damage. Ah. That would mean sacrificing the treasure. Yeah, you're probably right. So they just Burning Tree twice into nothing. I'm not very familiar with this deck. Not playing Giganta, so this isn't quite the list. It does have Tribal Flames in it. That's the general list, though. That's not quite what we're looking at here. I mean, it might be. Let's attack and see if they want to trade one of these Burning Trees for Ragavan. want to trade. Okay. Spire Bluff Canal. Ragavan. Channeler. Okay, so 5-color zoo it is. Mantis Rider showing up to be like, what's up? Let's see. And there's Delirium. Tapped. That takes away our threat in the air. It's 3, 4, 5. It's just a 5/5. Yeah. The tension between these two cards is real, but I think it's better to go this route. Gives us a 2-turn clock with evasion that's bigger than Mantis Rider. Treble Flames can still kill it, but sudden shock here. I can't quite get Delirium unless... No, I can't quite get Delirium, so we're not going to bother. Now, if I had have cast that Tribal Flames, like I should have, this would be lethal. And now they're scared to sacrifice this Wooded Foothills because it puts them in bolt range, but it doesn't matter because they have conceded the game. Let's go. Blood Moon, Engineered Explosives, and Aether Gust are where I'm going to go. We're going to cut Sudden Shock because I think that 3 damage is the number that we need for 1 mana instead of 2 for 2 there. Right? Sudden Shock, lethal again. If I'd have cast... grab Subtlety as well. Ragavan was okay, but he's not getting through very well, so I think cutting him is fine. Same with Dreadhorde Arcanist. Ragavan was pretty good, actually. I can't hate on him. We'll cut a Bauble. I need 4 more cards. What comes out? I need 4 more cards. We don't bring explosives in. Hey, sweet. You're right. Which means we need that. Got a sleight of hand, I guess, and a serum visions, because we're not really having... We'll cut an expressive iteration, because we want to be able to Aether Gust on that turn, I think. Alright, Alex. I'm told that you rock. At least that's what your username told me. This hand is gas. No interaction yet. Hey, but there's a blood moon. Which puts me in an awkward spot. Should have played Fiery Islet first, but I got excited. Scalding Tarn is usually the default turn 1 play, so went on autopilot, and now I'm having to think a little bit harder. I want Basic Island out of this, so I think we're just going to pass. Thought scour ourselves. Just flying and attacks a Fable. I was hoping it was also haste, but wow. Yeah, I've also had some issues mobile-wise to... Look at that. Perfect Delirium. And another Island Getter. Yep, my braid is looking a lot better with that Sign of the Draco. We're just gonna focus on making Blood Moon good and then closing the game out with Dragon Rage Channeler, which means Counterspell this turn. That's curious. Shocked and Sacred Foundry got me thinking. Ooh, Boros Charm, so we're going to 2 and they have red mana for days? We might be dead. We might be dead. We're not dead. Yay! Alright, so Dragon Rage Channeler. Bobble. What's your top card? Another Scion, but it's not going to work. Mountain, Ragavan, pass. If they attack, which is likely, I should not have played Ragavan. That was bad. Should not have played Ragavan. My play was to block Bolt. And that's the game because I messed up. Unless... that doesn't do it. Man, I punted the heck out of this game. Punted the heck out of it. Still doing so. Could have played the Kavu, but I want Bolt and Counterspell up. Just in case, for whatever reason, they decide not to attack. Yeah. Alright. Come on, Anthony. Draco has flying, right? Draco has flying. So I didn't have any blockers there. Yeah, not having the 4th Unholy Heat instead of... That's okay. We're going to get there, and it's going to be great. We're on the play this game. We don't have a sideboard hand, but we do have 2 channelers and a counterspell. And they are mulliganing to 6, so turn 1 Dragon Rage Channeler, turn 2 hold up counterspell. We're not doing a whole lot. So they kept 6. Let's go ahead and get the other channeler on the battlefield. We've got Unholy Heat here. If we can scry or surveil 2, we can get this game turbocharged. I don't want to give it too much time between, you know, making the play and all that, so that okay, so there we have Burning Tree Emissary. So that's a target, a killable target for sure. How many emissaries? Got 2. Put on top. Put on top. Boom. Boom. That's awkward. That's real awkward. Gotta wait for a minute before I can Blood Moon. Welcome back, Kenosa. Oh snap, it's Salty Lock. What is up, Salty Lock? Thank you as always for the continued support. There's a butt print on the sofa here in Antog's Den, and that belongs to Salty Lock. Man, I really want to drop this Blood Moon here, but we'd have... Don't say that too loud. We're fine. We've got Unholy Heat. We've got Counterspell. Not casting Blood Moon here makes them want to get another dual land, which means it will be more powerful in just a moment. Plus Unholy Heat may get us to another fetch land or... Yeah, don't be fooled. It's likely that they have more than is listed on their website. Yeah. Of course they have a bolt. And now I should have just cast it. Got greedy. Cash in on them whenever they got reprinted in a standard. Shadows over Innistrad, I believe. That is, whew. Manus Rider. Let's put Murktide Regent out there in front of Manus Rider. And then we can Blood Moon to lock out the game. Cool. Tribal Flames is not a card they can cast. They have enchantment removal. So we'll put that into our graveyard. I should have played my land first so that I would have this counterspell to back up this Blood Moon. Destructive Revelry. Okay, now we have counterspell up. Yeah, we're beating them on the clock, so let's attack with our 5/5. You want to talk about troll binders? I have a binder that'll troll some people. Although many of you have already seen it. Okay. So they had a temple garden. Still looking pretty good for us. Give us a little Thought Scour action. Don't want to draw that. Give him a look at the old lethal. What is your top card? Scion of Draco. A real cheap magic card for you to cast that is going to get counterspelled. That is what you were drawing? Bingo. Yeah! All right, we got one more to get. We've broken even with the 3-2. Let's get a 4-1, folks. Let's get a 4-1. Come on. Brendan 2000. Okay, so we have a pretty good hand for Murktide Regent. One, two, three, four. If we hit a fetch land, we can turn to this Murktide Regent. Brendan is mulliganing to 5. The old mirror match. You have a Ragavan that's coming down. So there's the potential that they dash in Ragavan. Nope. Okay. We'll take the 1. Okay, so they're playing Delver of Secrets. we have all of the burn available. Let's save Unholy Heat for the Delver. Because even without Delirium, since they have only 5 cards in their hand, it doesn't flip. There's a land. What is the last card in their hand? Is it a Murktide Regent? Serum Visions. Okay. It's very likely that this flips next turn. Let's find out for sure. Okay, so it is for sure flipping. So let's go ahead and kill it. Or not. Perfect. Lightning Bolt is the top card of their library, and they have conceded the game. Yes! Alright, so we are going to bring in Sudden Shock because it kills so many things for free. Not for free, but there's a lot to be said for this for the split second in this match. Bring in Subtlety and Spell Pierce. Maybe we get to a point where they're trying to Murktide Regent into a Murktide Regent and we Subtlety them out of the game. Okay, we've got turn 1 Ragavan into turn 2 Counterspell. Targeted us. Maybe I should have cast the Bauble and popped it, but okay. Definitely should have. Braid on top, so we'll just pass. Maybe counterspell their creature this turn. I'd thank you kindly to... I think that'll be fine. I'd thank you kindly to stop drawing lands, please. Threats off the battlefield. See if we can find one of our own. Nope, but we did protect ourselves from something. Bolt here. Anything but Murktide. That card's good. Okay, decided against dashing it. Playing Delver as well. Okay, Scariest threats, Ragavan. Does feed that delirium, though. Hand, shuffle, exile, island. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. No flip. This is about to get real scary for our opponent here. I don't want to block that. Targeting us with the Thought Scour. How thoughtful. Put on top, put on top. One, two, three, four. Hey Nugget, my opponent is we got the 4-1, folks. No, the opponent was asking why we were playing Sudden Shock. Our opponent was asking why we were playing Sudden Shock. Oh, that's so funny. Nugget, like, I'm sorry I hadn't done this sooner. Like, it was just hilarious this entire time. Everybody asking about Sudden Shock becoming the extra burn spell that we actually needed in a lot of spots. What a hilarious situation. I mean, if the metagame still starts warping towards this being the best deck, Sudden Shock is a completely viable option. No countering it. It catches Dragon Rage Channeler before Delirium. It catches Ragavan. Catches Delver of Secrets. Catches Monastery Swift Spears and Soulscar Mages before the opponent can save them with their Lava Darts. Our opponent just then was referencing Infect as a reason people have played Sudden Shock in the past. But here we are with a 4-1. So you know what that means. This is going to be the end of the YouTube video where I open one of these. Are you sure you want to open one of these? Yes. Open one. Boom. Alright, what did we end up getting here? We got... 5 play points. The Avatar Jade Avenger Treasure. Huh, that's pretty cool. Plarg, Dean of Chaos. Magic Online promo. With Augusta, Dean of Order. Cool. And Psychogenic Probe. Whenever a spell or ability causes a player to shuffle their library, Psychogenic Probe deals 2 damage to that player. Alright, well that's the end of the stream. I'm really happy everyone came out and hung out. We had a pretty good turnout. And... yeah, I like this deck a lot. I am excited about playing it more moving forward. Oh snap! Quick, get it under the bowl, under the exit there. Ren, thank you so much for the subscription. Ah, y'all making me feel awesome tonight. Had such a great stream. Several resubs. Love it. Alright. Again, thanks everyone for hanging out. I really appreciate the support. Means the world to me, so thank you. And y'all have a good night.